I'm here with Women's GB head coach Chris Stone. How have you enjoyed the first half of football today?
It's nice because it's the polar opposite to last year where we saw offensive plays going all over the place, so it's nice to see a little bit of defense being played. So I always expected a competitive game given the two programs, but it's nice to see a little more defense this year.
Yeah, definitely, and I think most people probably are surprised about the lack of scoring maybe in the first half. Is that just a testament to how the defenses have developed over the course of this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a degree of that. You know, the Warriors have a number of injuries on the offensive line front that I'm sure is going to impact things there. Shiv's been playing more defense than offense, which, you know, maybe they'll look back on that. But I do think there's a degree of these teams are familiar with each other. This is the second year running that they've seen each other, so they're certainly prepared.
Yeah, but they haven't played each other round robin this year, so I think most of us kind of came in expecting a bit of an unknown, really. And I think many probably surprised about the lack of scoring and the lack of attack maybe from the Birmingham guys.
You say they've not played each other this year, but like from a GB perspective, so many players from both sides, like everyone knows who Ruth Matt is, everyone knows who Shiv is. Like, yes, the two teams haven't played each other, but I know both of them will have film, they'll have seen things, the coaching staffs there are incredible, so they'll have game plans. And then just from a familiarity perspective, like, it's hard for, not that anyone gets surprised by how good Shiv or Ruth or Sydney are, but like everyone kind of knows what their favorite thing is to do because they go up against each other.
And in the second half, what should we be looking out for? You've obviously mentioned some of the big names there. Is there anyone else that we should be looking out for to make the difference in the second half?
I mean, I'll be honest, I just watched what happened to Shiv. Hopefully she's all right for me selfishly, but also I love Shiv as a person, so I hope she's fine. I would love her to be, you know, an X factor in this game, but it'll be curious to see how the Warriors adjust to things, particularly given just some of the injuries. So Angelina Fisher is someone that's been with the GB program in the past. She's come back for the Warriors. I'd like to see if perhaps in the second half, I know what she's capable of. They might need to call on her given some of the injuries that they do have.
And are you making a prediction for the second half, the outcome of the game?
For me, all I want is for all my girls to be healthy and safe when they leave the game. Whoever wins, like, I just want a good result for the sport, for the women's game in particular, but I don't take sides.
Fair enough. And maybe one thing that people might have noticed on the stream is not many people here spectating, probably less than we thought. Do you think that's just because it's a women's game or because it's a Saturday night?
I think there's always a degree of it being the women's game. I've spoken about it in the past, you know, in terms of, you know, we're doing recruitment, you know, Jason Scott at the GB men's team, and this isn't necessarily meant to be a dig at him. He's got more applications to go through than I do, and I would love for people to at some point look at the women's game as it's just football. Who's playing doesn't matter. The schematics are the same. You know, we're running the same schemes that they're running, but I don't want us to be viewed as a secondary level of the sport. So I'd be lying if I told you I didn't think that had an impact on things, and I would love for us to be able to just come out and enjoy American football for the sport that we love. So I would love to see more people here because, for me, biased, I get the opportunity to coach these players. I know how incredible they are, not just as athletes, but as human beings, and they deserve as much representation and fandom as everybody else because of just who they are as people. So yeah, like, I definitely think there's a degree of that, as much as I wish I could say it wasn't.
Yeah, 100%. I think we've obviously pushed a lot in the last probably few years for this kind of equality thing for women's football, right? I think the big thing is, you know, at least we're seeing it on Brit Bowl weekend, we're seeing it live streams. You know, how can people get involved and see more women's football, do you think?
I mean, firstly, just like from a coaching perspective, like at the end of the day, the women's season doesn't necessarily overlap with the uni ball season, which I know a lot of coaches struggle with, and I get their senior ball as well, but there's enough coaches in the country across the board that there should be more people involved at that level. So just like go out and coach it, because like I know you're out there, so please just get more involved. Like if you love football, go do it. So yeah, it's just part of it's a perspective change to look at it is it's not women's football, it's just football. Like, I think the thing that our players have struggled with, and they've talked about it, been very vocal about it, is like they don't want to be coached as women's football players. They want to be coached as football players, and this idea that you've got to coach them with gloves on or you've got to be treat them any differently. No, like quite actually, literally, they want to be treated the same way you coach everybody else. And I think there's just this misconception that women's football is a lesser version of the game, but that's just simply not true.
Yeah, and how do you think we develop more women's coaches then, keep people around in the game? And, because obviously being a women's player myself, seeing more women coaches I think is important for the growth of the game as well.
100%. And for me, my goal as the GB women's coach, I see myself as a placeholder. I don't see myself as a permanent fixture within there. And that's not because I don't love the girls. It's not because I don't want to coach. But for me, the vision, the dream would be that at some point one of our former players takes over from me. So it's one of the things, Wayne Hill's talked about it. Once you come into football, we want you to be football for life. And that doesn't mean as a player, but also moving across as a coach. So for us, at least from a GB perspective, anytime a player retires, the very first question we want to ask them is do you want to go into coaching, and what can we do to help accelerate your development within that? So I would love for the GB women's program to one day be 100% run by women through the program. So for us, it's just as we get those players that are mature enough through their retirement phase to take on that next level, that's what we want. That's my goal. My idea is I should be training my replacement. And for me, I would love that whenever my time does come to an end, that I can be comfortable saying that players who founded this program are going to take over this program in the long run.
Yeah, and I think obviously, for all women's teams, whether it's at a GB level or a national level, I think that's the ultimate goal is to, have women running women's football. Obviously, it's a struggle, as you say, with keeping people in. But obviously we've got you here. Tell me, how are you feeling after the game a few weeks ago, that silver medal for Euros? How do you feel that kind of maybe mixed campaign, many would say, for Euros, but coming away with a silver medal in the end?
100%. The last 2 years, just being really candid, has been tough. I think anybody will tell you that, simply because the way Worlds was, the way Euros used to have been, it was a 9-day, 10-day, all wrapped up into one thing. When you spread it across 2 years, it's really difficult to be at this level constantly over a long period of time. And, for me, admittedly, there's a lot of emotional stuff from a personal perspective, from a coaching perspective. I think there was initially a degree of just whew. But now, after you hit, there's a rebound, there's an excitement. We've got a lot of young players, some players that are in this game, some players that are in the program as a whole. We've obviously have some people from a coaching staff, player perspective that are moving on, and I always kind of knew that was the thing. And everyone wants to talk about Phoebe Schechter. I love Phoebe Schechter. I wouldn't be coaching GB if it wasn't for Phoebe Schechter. But there was always in the back of my mind, how do I find the next Phoebe Schechter? Mm-hmm. And there are people like Abby, like Ruby, like Grace. There's all these young players that are coming up that are, some of them like Abby are incredibly young, some of them in their early 20s. There is a really exciting group of young players that are in a position to take what that original group has set as a foundation and take it to the next step. So there's a period of where you try to look back over the amount of time you put into it, and there's a degree of exhaustion, and at the same time I've now rebounded because I am super excited about that group of what the next chapter of the story is.
And how can you take what you've learned from the way Euros was run this time to how that's effectively going to be how Worlds are run, right?
I mean, I'm hoping IFAF give me an answer so that way I can start planning out training camps and things like that, because I am looking at what does 2025 look like, what does 2026 look like after that. So I would just love the answer so we can get planning. But I think for me, the biggest thing is we are at a phase within the program when you start talking about the likes of Phoebe, Sydney, players that are moving on. We as a program have to be prepared to make sure that when those players do step on, that we have the capabilities to not take a step back or slow down our progress. So I think going forward, the idea is to bring in as many people as we can to A, identify talent, but B, also to develop talent to make sure that when we do move into the next phase, we're not caught off guard because some people have moved on to the next part of their lives.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for coming to talk to us, and enjoy the rest of the game.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks. congratulations on an amazing win tonight. How did you find the game?
It's brilliant, and I've got to give credit to the other team. Like, it was tooth and nail, and it's amazing to get the opportunity to play against them. Like, you're playing the best of the best. Like, we play with some of the girls at GB, so you know a lot of the faces anyway, but it's great being up against them, you know, battling. I've got so much respect for the whole team. Like, my team and theirs, it's just brilliant. I love it.
It was an amazing game to watch. What do you think was the difference for you guys tonight?
I think, honestly, we carried our discipline. Like, we needed those little different snap counts, all those little different things, and they added up, and they really, really helped us. I think our discipline was just brilliant tonight. I don't think we did. We didn't have a single offside or false start or anything like that. So.
No, and how did you feel, obviously, having to kind of come back from those 2 fumbles on the first 2 drives? Obviously, you know, it's a tough start, but you seem to hold it together.
It's hard, because I've never personally played them before, so I didn't really, I had an idea, but I didn't really know what to expect. And I needed a minute, and I got into it then, so, yeah.
And an amazing game, and that's what I mean. You guys did manage to somehow hold it together, and then obviously came back firing, and then to run in that 2-point score as well at the end for those extra points seemed to make all the difference.
Yeah. It's the team. There's not one person on the team that you can point at. It's fully team effort. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is a unit.
It was an amazing performance to watch. So what does the celebration tonight look like then?
Well, I don't personally drink, but I think we're going out for some nice drinks and just a chill one.
Amazing. Well, congratulations, and best of luck for when we come back this time next year.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Congratulations, an amazing win today. How did it feel playing your first ever final?
Oh, I don't think there's actually words for it yet. I think this week has felt more nervous than a lot of games I've played, including the GB game, just because I knew this was going to be like a game that I was in from the beginning. And obviously captain as well. You want to make sure you do everything right. You want to make sure you keep everyone calm, and all you want to do really is just scream and shout. But it was a fantastic experience just to be here, like regardless of what happened. But obviously getting gold is the icing on the top of the cake.
And it was an immense defensive performance tonight. What was the highlight for you?
Well, it's hard to pick out any particular play, but obviously we work really hard D-line wise. Not that I'm biased, but that allows our linebackers and safeties to do the job on the corners, to get in the backfield, to make those plays. And I think we just collectively also just stayed calm and collected. London Warriors are an excellent programme. You know, there's a reason why they're here, and if you let emotions rise, that's when things can start to fall apart from a defensive perspective. So we all just stayed calm. We knew it was going to be a tough game. We knew it was going to be a great game. And I'm just really proud of everyone's performance.
And how did you prep coming into this week? Was it different for you to how you would approach a GB game, or obviously your previous kind of national experience? You've never been playing at this level before.
Yeah, it's I'd like to say I felt exactly the same as I did going into all the other games, but being at this arena, being with everyone here watching, the fact that it's streamed as well, you get those moments where you're like, your stomach suddenly goes and you're like, oh my god, we're going to be playing on Saturday. But I just tried to just keep calm and relaxed as possible, and personally what helps me is helping other people. So I kept myself busy helping other people with, checking if everyone's okay and things like that. That's kind of what I did, just keep my mind off my own performance, I suppose.
Fair enough. And how do you take this energy and this kind of achievement and build that into next season for Birmingham?
I think momentum's always really important. I think momentum's important in a game, and I think momentum is important outside of a game. Obviously, the next thing everyone's going to be thinking about is recruitment. Who else are we going to see? Who else are we going to see go up to the 9-a-side league as well? Like, this is a really exciting time to be in women's football. So I think just getting the word out there, national champs, that might attract a few more people. But even so, just doing what we always do, staying collected, just going. Pedal on the gas when it's time to get back into that pre-season training, and just keeping our bodies fresh in the off-season, coming back bigger and better.
Yeah, and speaking of people coming up to nines, now that you mention it, who do you think who would you like to see coming up next year?
I think Cheetahs, I think, would be good to see at the 9-side level. They got some really talented players on there, and Kent as well. Kent, well, back when I played near Valkyries, Kent were always a good team to play. So it would be good to see them come up to the Nines League and sort of see a bit more experience for all the other teams across the UK, just to play some different teams as well. You know, some teams have played each other for many years in a row. It's good to get those different players and different plays in there, and sort of level the field as well, I think.
For sure. Well, congratulations and enjoy, I'm sure, the mini celebrations tonight.
Yes, lots of ice cream, of course.
Ice cream.
D-line
Just
celebrations.
ice cream.
Just ice cream. Thank you. But brilliant. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thanks, Zoe.
Cheers.
Congratulations on the MVP.
Thank you.
How did you find the game tonight?
Enjoyable, yeah. It's always an enjoyable game against Warriors, like they're a tough team. We knew it was going to be tough. For me personally, I enjoyed playing a new position, so defence was very different for me. But yeah, I'm just so proud of this team. We've worked very hard, like people have been playing all different positions and stuff like that. So I think we've been excellent in being like very versatile, and I think it showed. And it's nice to win together as a team. It feels great. We felt good coming into this game. It's great to get the win as well. So.
Yeah, amazing. And what do you think was the difference this year compared to like last year? Obviously, London have kind of over the past 2 seasons kind of had the edge over you, but then tonight you've come in and just really kind of asserted dominance and come away with the win.
I mean, I feel like this game and last year's game, it could have gone either way, to be fair. I don't it's a few players here and there can make a big difference. So it's just whoever wins on the day, and today it was our win. Last year it was their win, and so it's always be a close game, and it can always go either way with both these teams.
So on our podcast this week, I'm not sure if you've listened, but we picked our over/under score at a starting point of 70, and then obviously we've come out with this kind of 8-6 scoreline.
Yeah.
What do you think was the difference there tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I just don't know. I can see why you said the predictions last season. It's like offensive, like score after score after score, and today was just defense. His turn to put a show in. Like we've got a great defense. So does Warriors. So both teams have great offenses as well. So I don't know what the difference was. I don't know.
And obviously you're back playing in the UK the last couple of games. How does it compare playing here to playing, overseas?
It is very different. Obviously we play 11-a-side over there, and it's a lot more physical and a lot more American and aggressive. It's just like the level of experience over there is quite a difference. I just think the physicality of it. But hopefully we're making kind of progress over here. Going to 9s is great for, I think, women's football. Hopefully 11s at some point, but I'm glad we got to 9s finally, so we can practice special teams and kind of start to get a lot of players experience under their belts, because going from 7s to like the national team, like it's a whole different game. So the more players we can get kind of playing 9-a-side, the kind of better it will be for the programme. And keep going, and one day we'll be able to compete with America.
Yeah,
hopefully.
well, that's the aim.
Yeah, that's the aim.
And just one more for you. You and Shiv seem to have the bit of a measure of each other this week. It was definitely a battle out there between the two of you tonight. How do you find going up against them, when you're used to playing with them in a GB level?
I mean, we both have so much respect for each other. She's a fantastic athlete. She's a lot as well, offence, defence, special teams. And I think we just, we both play hard, hit hard, and we have a lot of respect for each other. And it's great to play against her as well and alongside her. But yeah, we're just both professional, get on with it, and yeah.
And is your future on defence then, after what we've seen tonight?
I have no idea. I enjoyed it. I've got a lot to learn. This is my second game as defence, so there's a lot to learn, especially as the British game develops and more passing games. It's very run heavy at the moment. But who knows? It's nice to finally have a go. I've always been kind of asking to have a little go on defence. So I thought going out to the States, I'll let the kind of running backs kind of really embed while I was away, make sure they get the reps that they need, and I can just fit in wherever the team needs me, really. I'll play wherever, offence, defence, so whatever's best for the team. I'm glad I was able to help, so that was good.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously coming away with the MVP, You definitely must have helped out there.
Yeah. I just wanted to have a good game and just be, the best for the team. And it's always nice to get MVP. But so many other players played the skins off. Sydney Green had an amazing game as well. She always does. And getting that first down, sealed the game. So you've got great players scattered throughout the team, and it's never just down on one person. So it's nice to get, but the recognition needs to go for the whole team because it's the whole team. Everyone's worked so hard, and we all deserve it.
Definitely. And last one, what does a Ruth Matter celebration look like tonight then?
Oh, I've got work tomorrow, so it's going to be tame. I'll have one or two drinks, but it'd be nice to just have the relief and just soak up the moment. But yeah, it'd be nice to be with the team and just, I'm sure I'll have a celebration at the end of the season as well. Be able to let my hair down. But I've got work tomorrow, unfortunately.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your time.
Cheers.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on a big win this evening. How are we feeling post-match?
Yeah, feeling great. I mean, really all credit to the players and the coaching staff that have kind of put in all the work all year. So just really delighted for them and everything they've done this year and what they've achieved today.
An amazing achievement to come back and beat London after obviously a few results in the last few years that have gone the other way. What do you think was the difference tonight?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a tough game against London, and the last 2 years it's been close games. When we had kind of the last kind of sevens game, and then last year's final was a great game. So it was always going to be close, down to one or two plays. And I think our defence just played fantastic today in what they did, and I think we just kind of ground them out at the end there.
Amazing. And how did you feel after those first couple of turnovers at the start of the game? I bet it made it a bit shaky on the sideline, or remain calm and keep going through what you know?
No, we remained calm and kept what we were doing. We actually spoke in the week at our last practice that London are going to make plays. That's what's going to happen when you've got a good football team that are well coached and got great athletes. They're going to make plays, but we've always got to focus on the next play. So for us, it's about putting the ball down and getting on to the next play. So even if something bad happens, we just need to focus on the next play. If something good happens for us, we need to focus on the next play, and that was kind of our last message that we had on Wednesday evening.
And Ruth Matter was back, obviously got the MVP. Do you think she was a difference maker tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Ruth playing both ways for us tonight was a difference that nobody's seen before. So no one saw Ruth play defence previously. So that was something that we kind of worked on this year. So it was great for her to kind of make that kind of play at the end of the game with the turnover, and then obviously contributed immensely in the run game as well as she always does.
And how do you take what you've achieved tonight and keep that going into momentum for next season?
Yeah, I mean, I said to the players, and I've just said in another interview, like, this is their piece of the legacy, of the Lions' legacy, and next year it's going to be a different group and a different set of coaches, and new people are going to come into the programme, some people are going to step away from the programme, and then that next group needs to put their stamp on it. So, yeah, we're just going to keep striving to be better, and that's all we can do.
Fantastic, and thanks so much for coming to speak to us, and congratulations.
Cheers, thank you very much. Appreciate all your work you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks.